Hi. Hi everyone, we are 4 weeks post-op from the ETV CPC at Boston Children's. Roman is doing really well. The last time we spoke about Roman's update was, I think he was like a week after the surgery, and he definitely showed us some new gross motor skills automatically, really like a day or two after the surgery. We saw him standing stronger and balancing better. We continue to see him excel, but he isn't walking yet. We are working in physical therapy with that. And they did still want him to have these braces around his ankles. They're called SMOs, and that's to help with the leg weakness. And when the ankle is weak and tries to turn in or out, the braces that are made out of this thin plastic will pop the foot back into the normal spot, and those should be able to strengthen and train his muscles the proper ways to walk. But I feel like we might have hit a plateau recently. He started developing so quickly right after surgery, and now things are slowing down a little bit. As a mom, I'm a little nervous with that. I don't know if it's just because now the pressure's off, he's adjusted, and now we have to just continue to let him grow on a normal type of development curve or whatnot, or if we're having trouble. I don't know. He's definitely not getting worse and he's not regressing, so I'm just going to continue to go forward, but I do see like we've hit a little bit of a plateau, and I'm just going to keep my eyes super close on him. Some of the other things that I've noticed since the ETV CPC is he's now sleeping through the night. Now, when we were in Boston and the 2 weeks we spent after surgery in Boston, his sleep was terrible. It was like almost like having a newborn again. He was waking up twice a night, wanted to nurse the entire night. It felt like, like he would nurse for like 45 minutes and then fall back asleep. And I do think it wasn't just only from the surgery, but it was from being in this new apartment that was so different from our home. So I think that was an extra stress on him. I wouldn't change our decision for the world, but it was like a stressful time for Roman. And then when we got home, he started only waking up once a night for the first week. And as I feel he adjusted back to being at home and his routine with all of the familiar things, for the first time in 14 months, well, no, this happened about 2 weeks ago, so 13 and a half months, he is sleeping through the night consistently. This isn't a fluke. For the past 2 weeks, he has went down to sleep around 7:30 to 8:30. We have a little flexible hour window with our routine, and he is sleeping through the night every single night for the past 2 weeks. And I am starting to feel like a new person because I'm getting sleep actually, and it feels amazing, and I feel like I have like a clearer mind, and I feel like I can almost like do things faster, and it's just been amazing. I will say I think the hydrocephalus was causing him to wake up. We did try cry it out, and it was not for us, and I'm not against cry it out because I think every person and every story is different, but for us, like, it never felt right. And I truly believe like Roman needed me, and I'm happy that I just like listened to my instinct, because prior to this and even now, like, I'm a first-time mom, and I'm pretty insecure or second-guess myself, and I see my friends like that have 2 children, and they're just like such pros and naturals, and I'm finding my own, but there's something that God gives you, like a motherly instinct. Just always trust that. I totally have learned my lesson through this, and to be more confident, and I'm working on it. But I'm really glad that we did not like force the cry it out, because we were told that one of the reasons that Roman could have been waking up is because he was having headaches late at night or headaches in the morning. It's really common with hydrocephalus children, and so he was like nursing to comfort and be held and sit up and have that alleviated. They also say that the pressure in the brain can affect the hypothalamus, and that regulates your circadian rhythm, so he never was able to have a circadian rhythm. So I don't know, but he was pretty consistent when he would wake up at night, like the same time. So I do wonder if it wasn't headaches or something like that. But completely, we're sleeping through the night. I didn't really do cry it out again. I just decided to like go in there and put him back down in his crib instead of like holding him to sleep. And normally, like when we tried that before, he would just go ballistic. This time he cried like a little bit. I don't want to say it was like completely, easy, but he cried for like, and like whimpered, like a different cry, like not the cry that he was crying previously when we tried like the true cry it out, or fervor, you go in every so many minutes. And he would fall asleep in under 2 minutes. So we did 2 nights of that, and we are, sleeping through the night. So it's completely, and it just went completely different. The cries are different. The time that we spent letting him, kind of fuss back to sleep, it's just all different. So that is awesome for us. And then, when he first had the surgery, he started babbling a lot more, and he still is babbling, and he's babbling more than he ever did. He was really a quiet baby. Like, he didn't really cry, but also he didn't like babble. He said mama and dada and baba. We heard those 3 things from him, but he never would like do that frequently. When right after the surgery, we noticed like a huge progression. However, now it seems like it's kind of like tapered off, and he's pointing at things and just going and not making that vowel and consonant sound that he should. So and not even really trying. He's just getting frustrated and crying, and he's like looking at us. So the occupational therapist noticed this and recommended him to be evaluated by speech therapy. So our pediatrician did put that in, and we were going to start speech therapy, which I like. Every time something like this happens, like the braces or the speech therapy, like I feel a little sad and defeated, like here's another problem. But the fact is it's not another problem. Like, this is hydrocephalus. I already had the diagnosis. I already had suffered through those feelings and accepted that this is what my son has. It's incurable as of now, and we're just going to work forward through this. But every time like I have a piece added onto me, I kind of go back into that mode, or like, oh, is this worsening? But no, this is like the card we were dealt, and these are opportunities for my son to have a normal life. These are opportunities for my son to have a good quality of life. And I need to see them as a positive and not as like a constant negative reminder of hydrocephalus. I need to see this as like a treatment. Although there's not a cure, we have like more treatment. So I'm really excited. I don't know if you could hear him. He's talking to himself over there. He's eating a snack right now. Right, just like in the next area. I'll bring him out in a second. But, I just want to be honest with my feelings a little bit, because like I said in my other post, it's easy to talk to a camera, like there's no person, I'm not looking anyone in the face, and it's easy to talk about key points that I want to share with other parents I think are so important, and like almost making myself a script. But the truth is I do have these emotions, and I think other parents do too, and just want you to know you're not alone. And what has helped me in my mind frame, like get back into the positive mode. So we're going to be doing speech therapy and continue to work with his braces. His incision, so one of the things that a lot of people are worried about, and myself included, was like his incision. Right now he still has the Dermabond on. It's been 4 weeks. You do not want to pick the Dermabond. You do not want to pull it off. You do not want to flake it off. You let it just fall off on its own. It is glued to your child's skin. You pull it off, you can actually pull off that scab. You could interfere with the healing process. So don't do that. I will try to get a video when Roman comes over here of his head, but he loves the camera, so he's probably going to try to like get in the face of the camera and not put his head down. But every night when we do bath night, so every other night, we do baths every other night, I wash his scalp with like a washcloth and soap, and I wash completely around it, and then I take a fresh washcloth. I never like do cross-contamination, because I feel like his, like when you put a child in the bath, their like bottom is in there and stuff, and I think I clean him well throughout the day, but you don't know, and I would never want that to get into his cut. That's how an infection can happen. So anytime I wash the head, I do a fresh washcloth with water out of the sink, like fresh water out of the sink, damp wet washcloth. I wash around the incision. I do take a little soapy water and drip it over after the 2 weeks, because you can't get it wet for 2 weeks. I drip it over the Dermabond, and then I rinse it with fresh water, take a just water washcloth, rinse the scalp, so I'm not drenching his cut. I just like drip it over, and then I just like rub it with the water washcloth, and it rinses it and it dries really nice. And then I just pat it dry with a clean soft towel, just a little pat to get any excess off, and then I just, you know, dry his head. He doesn't have much hair, so it's kind of been easy, and his hair that was shaved is growing back in, so I can see how there are babies out there with like a lot of hair. You might have a more difficult time, but the main thing is you do not want to interfere with the healing of that wound. You don't want to rip, peel, drench it in water. You want to let the natural healing process happen. And when I show you the incision, you'll see that it's like flaking off. It looks like really dry. It's the Dermabond peeling off, and it's attached to the scab, and as the scab falls off, the Dermabond falls off, which has been great. I'm so happy that it lasted, because keeping a dressing or hat on a 14-month-old is really hard. So the Dermabond did all the work for me and kept the incision clean and dry. We ended up going to the beach in Maine like a week after his surgery, and there was like sand blowing around. I kept the sand out of it. I didn't even think about that, but when we got there, luckily, you know, Dermabond was on. So that's been really great too, and I hope I gave you some tips on keeping that nice and clean. And that is really about it. I truly feel like the ETV CPC, even if it isn't going to be working, or ultimately he will need a shunt, it was a pretty easy recovery. It didn't interfere with his like development. Like, he's only a head. They were worried, you know, they said with some brain surgeries, our therapist said that, you know, you can see a regression, and that's normal, and therapy will work through that, but we didn't see any of that. And I won't regret my decision in trying this. So I hope that gave some insight. If you have any questions, as always, please comment, message me. I've seen people reach out to me on Facebook. It's Rachel Malik, same as my YouTube name, and my Instagram name currently is the Sassy Nurse, TheSassynurse, and you know, feel free to reach out to me. I love it when I get messages and connecting with other parents. This has been therapeutic to me as well, because I feel like I'm not only doing all this research for my child, but doing it for others, and I've tried to take you along with me, because I am going through so much, and Roman's doing so many things right now, and I want to share that with others. I might be a little delayed, because my number one priority, of course, is caring for Roman and getting him to these appointments and getting him through these care pathways, but I do sit down and try to do some type of documentation. But I think he's done with the snack, so I'm gonna go grab him and show you guys how he's doing. So that is Roman's incision. Hopefully the video is focusing. But if you see that like white flaky stuff, that's just the Dermabond coming off. There's a little area of the scab that has fallen off, taken away the Dermabond, but it doesn't seem to bother him. I don't want to touch it because my hands aren't, you know, super clean, but there's just a little bump above the head, and they said that's normal, and he's super interested in the camera. Roman, say hi. I don't know why it's not focusing so well. There we go. Roman, show everybody your big boy shoes. Those are so cute. Is lunch good? You have cauliflower rice, puffs, and a turkey sausage. Yeah. Can you say hi? Can you say cup? Cup? Cup. Where's your cup? That's your cup. Yay! Yeah. Yeah. I love you. Oh, Was that not good? And peace wasn't good? I love you.